Good evening, everybody. Welcome to another fun-filled night here on Spirit Connections. Stephanie and I, both spirit mediums.
Changing it up on me.
Changing it up, yep.
Here I
Go
am,
ahead,
all
Steph.
set to introduce myself, and she does it for me. I'm Stephanie Burke. I'm a spirit medium, Reiki master teacher.
And I'm Tiffany Rice, spirit medium, Reiki master as well. And tonight we have the one and only Mandy Avery.
Spirit medium, not so much a Reiki master, but animal medicine card reader.
Which is completely awesome.
Right.
And I'm very happy because Mandy and I share the same office space in Pembroke.
Although we don't see each other all that often.
We don't. But whenever time I go in, there's something new that's either switched up on me or there's new candy, which I like.
Oh, yes, the candy.
I always like the new candy.
Keeping you on your toes.
Yeah, don't get those caramel things anymore.
Why? They were on sale.
Because I'm addicted to them.
Oh, okay.
I didn't eat all of them,
Of
though, I
course you got them
promise
because
you.
they were on
They were on
sale.
sale. Well, I walked by and I was like, oh, that sounds pretty good.
Yeah.
But I love the Dove that you have,
Oh, yes.
the dark chocolate Dove. So
Right.
whenever
Well-
you find a good deal on that.
Right. Well, this time it's Hershey's, so
Okay.
suck it up.
Well, I'll eat that too. Well, one of the reasons why we wanted to have you on tonight, Mandy, was because you had mentioned you do the animal medicine cards. And I know that you've described to us in detail before about them. But for those of you guys that are just touching base and checking us out tonight for the first time, could you give us kind of a brief description of what these animal medicine cards are?
Okay. I found these cards maybe about 30 years ago. They're designed by Jamie Sams and David Carson, two Native American healers and teachers. And this is the Native American tradition as in North American nations. It's animals that you'll find in North America as well as Central America. So there's no elephants, there's no tigers, there's nothing in there that you would not find in the North American land and waters. And what these people have done is gone through their cultures, their traditions with their elders. And each animal that is represented in this deck has one particular characteristic that's strongest amongst its many. And these have been designed to utilize that energy. So when I do a reading for someone using these cards, it's the energy that the animal represents that they're supposed to call on. So if you're working through something in your life, you call on a particular energy. When children get lost, they call on the energy of certain animals in order to reconnect them to their families. This is Native American children, not kids running around in suburbia USA. These cards also have information on the shields, and the illustrations are done by Angela Wernick, and that's what attracted me to these cards to begin with, was the illustrations on them.
Excuse our train going by.
It's right on time.
Yep.
So in the Native American cultures, there are 7 directions. So there are 7 clans represented in these cards, which is a little different from a regular playing deck, which has 4 suits, or tarot, which has the 4 suits plus the major arcana and the minor arcana. But all of this information that's on these cards, the information in the textbook that comes with these cards, and there's 52. They started with 44, and when I was reading with the deck of 44, I felt like there wasn't a completion to it. And maybe 5 or 7 years after I had started working with these cards, and I kept saying, these aren't complete, they came out with a deck of 52 cards. But the information that's attached to these shields that represents the clans is not in the textbook. And I worked with a friend of mine in New Mexico who is Native American. And I also worked with my guides through guided meditation, working with my guides to understand the information that's attached to the shield and why it's where it is and what it means. So when I'm doing a reading for someone, it's almost like a hologram, and the information rises up off the card for what they want me to talk about. Like, for instance, this bat, which is rebirth, has the sea star on it. People call it a starfish, but it's not a fish, it's a sea star. And when this comes forward in a reading, it indicates to me to let them know that there's more opportunities than what they think. Because if you cut the arm off of a sea star, it will regenerate. So in other words, there's no missed opportunities. There's also these bear claws on either side, which means that you need to go into introspection to understand where your opportunities are, not to look at the closed door. The hawk feathers always represent spirit messages, but this one means that the messages will be coming in fast and furious because this is one of the wing feathers, one of the ones that help with direction for flying. So there's all kinds of information on these, on the shields, and they all mean something. The hair, the unbraided hair, is gentleness. Braided hair is warrior energy. When the warriors would go out, they would braid their hair to keep it out of their face when they were out, but unbraided hair indicates non-warrior. And if you think of the wishbone, that it's flexibility. It's one of those things where you keep doing this, so there's flexibility involved in it. So each of these has a lot of information on it. So when I do a reading for someone, all of this comes into play as well.
So it's not just, because of course I think when a lot of people see cards, they automatically think tarot cards, because that seems to be very popular.
Right.
But this is actually pretty different than tarot cards.
It's different in the sense that it's telling you what energies to call on. It doesn't say this is what's going to happen or this is what's not going to happen. It's the energy that you're going to call on to help you, or the energy that you'll be looking for, the energy that'll be moving through your life at that time, and it's sort of a preparedness. Okay, to understand this. The horse represents power. And if depending on the aspect of it and the layout, it says either you're going to have people helping you or you're going to have to rely on yourself. So it's that type of thing, but it doesn't say, oh, as you're going to college or as you're looking for a new job. What it says is, look, during this time frame, you're going to need to do this in order to move through what's happening. And even though we have different aspects of our lives, we have work, we have family, and we have that, but we also have our physical body, our emotional body, and our spiritual body. So that also comes into play in understanding this information. It isn't just one plane of information. And you might be thinking that it applies to work and then realize that actually it applies to working with a relationship within your family rather than within a relationship at work.
So it's not necessarily the information that you're wanting to hear, but it could be information that you need to hear.
That you need to hear. Lessons that you need to learn. And one of the spreads on this says lessons that you're working on, and the other one is lessons you've completed. So it's good to know that you've learned a lesson and that you don't have to repeat that again because you won't forget it. So that's kind of interesting, too.
And also, we just want to remind you that it is Mandy Avery. If you guys have any questions, you can give us a call at 781-281-8433. I was going to ask you, Mandy, if you want to give Steph an example of a reading. Would you want to do that, Steph?
Sure.
We can do, the pathway spread is the one that I usually start out with people because it gives me a foundation information for people. It's 7 cards, but what we're going to do is I'm just going to ask you to choose 3 cards right now, and I'd like you to lay them down, face down, in the same order that you choose them. So you can put them here, 1, 2, 3.
Okay.
So should she set her attentions in any way, or on a question that she wants to ask? Or?
No, because we're not doing a question. All I'm doing is saying this is the energy you were in, this is the energy you're in now, and this is the energy you'll be moving into.
Okay.
Okay.
Now you'll notice that Stephanie just turned every one of those to the contrary, but we're not going to make her do that.
Oops.
I know, it's okay.
But it must mean something, right?
Well, it does, because when you turn it to the contrary energy, it means the opposite of what it is. Okay, so your past energy is telling me you've had to integrate a lot of things. Alligator medicine is about integration, okay? And it means taking in many things at the same time, but it's a slow digestive situation. Like alligator doesn't chew everything down. It takes it down and lets it kind of fester and think about it. So the energy, what they're telling me is the energy that you're moving, that you have moved out of, was where you were trying to focus a lot of different things into one space. Do you understand it? Of course you do, because your life has changed dramatically. Mm-hmm. And it's also telling me that you're that part of the way that what's coming forward is this crow feather, which is natural law, and it's telling me that what you had to do was weigh the pros and cons of everything that you were doing and sort of like really think, you really put a lot of thought into it. But the thing that was happening is you weren't taking action on a lot of things. You were sort of like just letting things slide a little bit, okay? Now, the things that didn't come forward on this, there was no red flag on this. I didn't have to worry about the energy that you had, and there weren't any particular health issues during that time. Do you understand that?
Yes.
The energy that you're in right now, this is fantastic. This is spider energy, which is about creativity, communication, networking, and this is really loaded with a lot of information. So where you are right now is just sort of spreading your net out a little bit further, doing more networking, more networking, more networking, and you're also learning how to communicate in a better way. You're going to ask for that energy to help you tell people what you need to do, whether it's written or verbal or whatever. Also, you've pulled back a little bit. They're telling me you've pulled back a little bit and you're protecting yourself a little bit more from what other communications are doing to you. Do you understand that?
Yes, I do.
Okay. And once again, where there was only a little bit of action in your past energy, there's a lot of action now, which means that you're going to be moving faster and faster, okay? Don't forget that you still need to help others with this even though you don't want to.
Right.
And this last thing, there is a change happening, and this is health-wise, there is a change happening, but
Okay.
we're not going to get into that, okay?
Okay.
Because I think you know what that is, too.
Possibly, yes.
Yes, you do.
My curiosity.
I was going to say, I
and
know
logic
what
mind
it is.
Yes, you know exactly what it is.
Do I?
Yep.
But
We're
you
not
can
going to talk
it.
about
It's
okay,
fine.
because what it is you're moving towards having a child.
Okay.
Do you understand
Yes.
that? And there's some things that you're doing to try to make that a more feasible situation. Do you understand?
Yes.
Okay. No, she's not looking at you. She's looking at something else. Okay. Your future energy, fantastic. Okay. What's fantastic about this is they're in the, this is the grouse, which is the sacred spiral. Now, the clans are the same. So it means that this is
I was gonna ask
continuing.
about that 'cause I could
It's
see
a
it.
continuing situation. So there isn't going to be a stop and go as you move into your future energy. It's all contiguous.
Okay.
And what it's saying is now, even though we're saying to you communication is good, you're going to have to decide which way you're going to turn. The sacred spiral, turning in one direction pulls things in, and turning the other way will push things away
Okay.
from you. So it's going to be up to you to complete your dance and which way you want to go with this. And do you see the numbers?
Yes. That's kind of interesting.
It is.
I was going to ask about that too.
Yeah. I usually don't worry about the numbers too much, but this is just the spider is number 43 and the grouse is number 34, so we're looking at 3, 4, 4, 3, which is like the ascended masters are helping you, the angels are there to protect you, and just listen to your ascended masters.
Okay.
In other words, you're bookended by the masters and teachers with the angels helping you.
That's really cool.
Okay, if you want to go into that, which isn't a part of their medicine. The other thing that's showing up on this, though, what's showing up on this one, it didn't come forward here, but it's coming forward on here, is there's a lot of momentum. You have that bone, that short bone is like the foreleg on an animal or our forearm, and what it's saying is you're going to have to do more work. You're going to have to do more work in order to complete what you're moving into.
Right.
Any questions?
No?
Yeah, so Steph, how did you interpret that? How was it pretty much right on as far as past,
it's
present,
definitely
future?
right on.
Or?
Absolutely right on.
Right. She doesn't have to get into the personal details.
Oh, right.
No,
I'm
of it.
no,
not
no,
asking
no,
personal,
it's 100%
just-
accurate.
Yeah.
Mandy always is, though.
Yeah, sure. Yeah,
You
sure.
are, you are.
Yeah.
But what I find so fascinating about this is it's not your typical, people I think have a fear of getting their cards read.
Oh, for a negative or anything
Yeah.
dark coming through?
And but this almost takes the taboo, I guess you could say, of a tarot card reading totally off the table. And
It's
this is,
critters.
yeah, they're so cute.
Yeah,
Like
they're
It's
so
all
cute.
animals, guys. Animal medicine cards.
Right.
Yep, and it's just really fascinating the amount of information that's on one card.
Right. The other thing that I find interesting is all of these feathers are left aspect
Yes, I was going to ask
feathers,
about that
which is very, very strong Mother Earth energy.
too. Okay.
Okay, the left is the feminine side, the right is the masculine side. So all of this, but this is the eagle feather, which is the connection to spirit. In other words, as you're doing all of this, if this aspect had come forward to me strongly, it would have said to me, look at, you have to look more to your faith in God to get you through this, but that's not coming through.
Okay.
And even though this is here, this is the same, this coral, and the coral is here, it only came forward here, meaning that you're changing something. The aspect that you're in right now, you're focused more on something to do with your health.
Okay.
Do you understand?
Yes.
And that there's a change happening.
And also, guys, I know sometimes it might be tough to see here, but it's not just animals. On the cards, they have the feathers that Mandy was talking about, and coral, and
There's antlers, there's bones, there's seashells.
right. There's all different things. It's not just
Right.
an animal, which I think
The
is
antlers
amazing.
are the antelope antlers, and the antelope is the medicine for action. That's why I said
Okay.
on this one, it's shorter,
Yep.
okay? On this one, it's longer.
It's almost like
Okay.
it progressed and it grew.
Right.
Yep.
So, but it's still not deer medicine, so I'm not worried about that. There's
Okay.
also, let me see if I can do this.
Can
This
I try
is,
one too?
right.
Now
Now
I
you
want to
wanna
know.
I know. This is one of the most active clans, this one, but it's turkey medicine. That's
Okay.
a wild turkey feather. So it's interesting how these things come forward. And I always found it interesting. I'm the type of individual that I'll do something for a while and then study it.
Yes.
And I was like, oh, maybe I should have studied this. And then I realized that everything that I was talking about was actually, like every time I saw the coral, I went, that really feels like it's a health situation. That really feels like it's
Yeah.
a health situation. And then I was told that coral is life essence. So like
Okay.
when you see it, it's like the circulatory system
Yep.
in the body. So
That
that's
actually
why,
makes perfect
yeah,
sense.
so they said it's life essence. I was like, okay, so we'll go with
It's
that.
going to be an amazing validation for your own senses, too.
Well, I know that I always laugh about it, and I say, universe kicked my ass so hard when I turned 60 to get out here doing this, because I'd just been playing with it for a long time. And then universe said, you have no choice, honey pie, just get going. All right, let me see if I can get this so that you can choose these easily.
I think the first. Oh,
Put
sorry,
your feet
Steph.
flat
You
on the
have
floor.
to choose, too. Tiffany has
I
a
know.
problem with
Now my anxiety is
indecisiveness.
like, what am I going to choose?
It doesn't matter. Whatever you choose is
Yeah.
absolutely what universe wants you to choose. So you can move them in any way you want. That's number one. Yeah. Go ahead.
Thank you.
Go ahead. Do it. Here she goes.
Don't put too much thought
You can
into
move
it.
that around if you need to. And we'll go to commercial break while
Yep.
Tiffany chooses her cards.
I was good. I was
You
good.
were good. I know. We put so much pressure on
I was
you,
easy.
too.
I have 1,000 questions for after the show, but Tiff's going to
Okay.
hammer you.
Okay. So this is, once again, past energy, present energy, future energy.
Okay, so
All right, so you've been in a place where you've been playing and taking, playing. I laugh about that because Tiffany doesn't play, but Tiffany plays all the time, actually. But the problem was with all of this innocent playing and taking your time is the burden was still on you to do what you needed to do. And you had to get warrior attitude going in order to make that final push to get out of that phase. Do you understand
I
that?
do
Oh,
understand.
absolutely, don't we? And look at how this is now the masculine side that's pushing in and saying you had to start listening to the logical messages coming into you, not just, you had to listen to the logical protective energies. Okay. Where you are now. Prayers of abundance. Okay, she had the porcupine, which is innocence. She now has the buffalo, which is prayers and abundance. So what they're saying is you are now in a position where you're going, yes, I've got what I'm where I'm supposed to be. I'm happy. I know that there's more coming to me. But this little fishbone here, salmon is inner wisdom. So this little fishbone showing up is the aspect of your psychic wisdom and how open you are to getting it. Do you see that? That open shell. And once again, we've got the eagle feather coming in, but it's coming in from the masculine aspect, whereas the cards that you had, Stephanie, had it coming in from the feminine aspect. So once again, the strength. You have to take on the strength of both sides. Do you understand that?
Yep. So, well, is that a rock? What's
Yes,
that in
it is a rock.
Oh, okay.
That's a rock. It's sort of a grounding type of thing, staying grounded.
Okay, so staying grounded.
But that didn't come forward. What came forward for me were these two.
Oh, okay.
When I say coming
Picking up
forward,
on-
and look at, this is buffalo horn, so even in your innocence, you were still moving towards a place of abundance. But that didn't come forward. What came forward for me was this bone here, which is like the collarbone. It's a weight-bearing bone. So it means that you've carried a burden, and the braided hair means that you've been the warrior attitude to move out of this. Okay. Ha! So the last card, your energy, is more transformations coming, more transformations, but I don't know which one that you're going to be moving into. But this is an elk antler here, but it's stunted. So what it's telling you is you're going to need a lot of stamina, and you have to really rely on that stamina to move forward. You really need to, one foot after the next, after the next, after the next.
Just
Don't
be
give up.
strong.
Don't rush. Don't lag. Just keep moving in order to complete what you're doing. Usually when we get a butterfly like that, we ask for more information because it's a transformation. Oh, yay. Another psychic card. It's more energy, but I need to see, are you in the larva stage? Choose three
Am I in
places.
the
Three.
larva stage?
Three.
Three?
Quickly,
Oh,
yes. Hurry
quickly.
up.
Okay, Mandy, you're making me nervous.
Good.
Where do I go? Right here.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Pick.
Uh-oh.
Just pick.
It does.
Just pick.
But I felt like this one too. Twins.
Yeah, not. Okay. All right, so this is what's happening. The transformation stage that you're in has a lot to do with, this is the record keeper, but this is the one that says you've got to find your own voice to this. You've got to get your own call going, and you've got to use that to communicate to others what it is you're looking for, because you hesitate when you want to talk to people. This is the one that you chose, Badger, which is aggression. Marking your territory, being aggressive, not letting anybody take over what you want to do, okay? But it also has to do with herbs and nutrition, because it's the root. Badger is the one that's the keeper of all the roots underneath and knows what nutrients you need, okay? The one that you didn't choose was alligator and integration and getting more things involved into completing what you need to do. But what this is saying is that in order for your transformation to take place, you've got to remember where you've come from and where you're going to, and you've got to remember how to talk to people in a way that's creative but cohesive. It's important because
And not aggressive.
because you get a little cranky if things don't go your way, don't we all? Any questions?
Interesting.
Yes.
I see it
But-
this way, don't you? Why not? You're
But
wrong.
here's the thing I'm going to tell you. This energy has to do with relationships.
That one does?
Yes, that energy has to do with a relationship. So
And that one's the aggressive one?
Badger is aggression, yeah.
Okay. So I can't be as aggressive.
No, you might have to be more aggressive.
Be more aggressive.
It just depends on, what you have to do is
Might
just be
be.
aware. You have to
Feel
be,
it help.
okay, when I say this, this is because we didn't know what stage you were going to be going through with the butterfly. But what it looks like to me is you've got to find your voice, move into your voice, and then maintain that. So what they're saying is you need to be heard.
Absolutely.
And you don't get heard as the egg, and you don't get heard as the caterpillar, and you don't get heard as the cocoon. So that means that that final stage of finding your own way, finding your own space, getting your wings going, that's what I would take out of this.
And that's what the aggressive
So they
saying.
said that the finals, your energy that you're moving into is the butterfly, the coming out of the cocoon, emerging. But in order to do that, you've got to remember where you're coming from, why you're doing it, how you're letting people know what you're doing, and then maintaining that.
So how and maintaining. There's just so many
It's too
cards.
much. It's too
too
much.
much
I
for
know.
you.
She says it's too much. Usually when I do a reading for a client, they're either recording it or writing notes.
I was going to ask if you allowed that.
Yes, I do, because first of all, if people are writing notes, they're writing what they've just heard and they're not hearing what I'm saying. The recording has it so that they understand what it is I've been saying to them, and they can play it over and over and over again. But I don't provide recording material for my clients. That's up to them.
Well, that's good. I mean, majority
Everybody's
of
got
phones.
smartphones,
Yeah.
and these phones are smarter than we are anyhow. Any other questions?
Well, that's pretty
Not yet.
amazing.
Well, it's only amazing if we see what happens to you. Ha
Well, I remember the first time I met you. It might not have been the very first time. I think we had met a couple of times, but you had given me a rock with a frog on it,
Yes.
and I still have that in my collection.
Yes, because the frog medicine is for clearing, for cleansing, for letting go, for letting the tears move things through. We often think of crying as being something that's weak, but it's not. What it is it cleanses out the emotions and prepares us for the next stage.
And don't you feel good after you cry? I don't know about you guys, but when after
No.
I cry, I always, you
No.
don't know. Okay.
I feel like, oh, that was wasted.
I always
too.
feel good. Like I feel like, my
So that's why you need
mind
that
is-
frog medicine.
Yeah.
That is you, the clearing out the water, the cleansing, the cleansing.
I
the
cry when
letting
I'm
go.
angry too. It's not
Oh,
just
yes, I
sad.
do
think
too.
everybody does.
Yeah, it's not just like when I'm sad. It's when I
Yeah.
get angry, I cry.
It's not a
Sad,
fun
happy,
thing to
all
go
of it.
through.
No, I cry when I'm
It's an emotional
when I
release.
laugh. Yeah,
It's an emotional release.
I've
So it's
laughed
all
so
good.
hard where I've just cried and cried,
Yeah.
but it was a happy cry. But afterwards, I felt so good afterwards.
Mhm.
Are you a water sign?
No, I'm fire. Aries, Ram.
I have no
Horns.
idea, I don't follow it.
It's okay. I'm a Ram.
There's a comment,
Yes, just regular
Just-
conversation.
just one comment, just one comment.
So
Just
man, I feel like you should do every. Now I'm like, do somebody else, do somebody else. But
No,
I know
they
it's
have
probably
to be willing. They
It's
have
yeah,
to
it's
be willing.
it's probably.
We do have an
exhausting.
audience that we can call up.
Yes,
Right, but they won't be touching the cards.
that's true too. I know if anybody's interested in asking Mandy any questions on the animal medicine cards, please call us at 781-281-8433.
That's 781-281-8433.
Call now. Now.
Right. You get a 2-for-1 deal.
I'm gonna have to call you a badger from now on.
No, don't call
No.
her a badger. That's what she has to move through in order to deal with things.
It's funny though because growing up, that was our mascot was a badger.
Was it?
Mhm.
Interesting. So that brings up another statement. People are always talking about their totems.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, anybody that's really knowledgeable about totems or power animals understands that you don't talk about them to others because then that energy can be used against you.
This is very true.
And it's
Oh.
funny how nobody ever says, I'm the earthworm or the ant or the praying mantis or the rabbit. They all say, I'm the wolf, I'm the bear, I'm the eagle, I'm the hawk.
Mm-hmm.
But ant medicine is for patience.
Interesting.
It's somebody that can carry more than their load
Very
of the
true.
burden. And they know the path that they are on, and they know that what they're doing is the best for the family and the community. But no one ever says they want to have ant medicine. No one ever says they want to have skunk medicine, which is about reputation, and is a very sexual reputation as well. Skunk is right out there, just flaunting it. So,
Interesting.
Spraying.
well, spraying is protection, but,
Oh.
the black and white of it, the idea of saying they don't have fangs, they don't have claws, all they have is the big stink that they can put up,
Mm.
and it's memorable. So don't push them to the point where they're going to do that,
Mm-hmm.
because once they do it, you never forget it.
They're actually kind of cute.
They actually kind of are. They're almost like a badger head, you know,
Yeah.
the skull.
I would cuddle with one.
Would you?
Yeah.
Okay.
But most animals I would.
Yeah, no.
I don't know about most animals.
Yeah.
I think you're thinking domesticated animals.
Woodland creatures.
Yeah, most animals you probably would not cuddle with.
Right.
The chances of that happening,
Let's see this.
like you wouldn't want to cuddle with a moose.
Now, here's
I'd
one
wanna
of the
touch
things.
one. Just to touch
It won't
it.
like
Right.
you very much.
Anyone that goes to my website or anyone that knows how I dress most often for work knows that the dragonfly is one of my
Very true.
medicines, one of my things.
Mhm.
The dragonfly medicine is for illusion. It reminds us to understand that what we're perceiving as our reality is not necessarily the truth,
Mm-hmm.
is not necessarily what it is.
What about the Black Panther? What's that
Oh,
for?
this Black Panther, this is number 52, it's the last card in the deck.
Mhm.
It is about embracing the unknown, taking that leap of faith, the Thelma and Louise maneuver. that leap of faith. And oftentimes it's what people really need to hear when they're hanging on tooth and nail to what they know, even though it's painful and it's not right for them, to have the courage to let go, to go into it. There's also a jaguar in here, and that's about integrity and impeccability. There's one of my favorites as well. Integrity and impeccability, in other words, speaking the truth and requiring that of others as well. It's so important. We give people the buy oftentimes, even though they've hurt us with their lies, and we won't confront them. But that's what that's about.
There's so many.
There are. And Blue Heron's another one of my favorites. This is about self-reflection. And it's not about judgment. It's not about looking at yourself and judging what you've done. It's looking at yourself in an easy, this is what I've been doing, how can I change this? Do I want to change it? Is this something I need to do? There's no judgment with Blue Heron. And I live on a pond in Pembroke, and all summer long the herons fly back and forth because we have very shallow water in front of our property, and they do a lot of their hanging out and fishing there. So it's kind of interesting to see them. Those and hawks. We have a lot of hawks. A lot of hawks.
So now, how can people get in touch with you, say if they wanted to get a reading? For
They
animal medicine
can
cards?
contact me through my website, fromspirittoyou.com. They can call me at, I've got two phone numbers, 339-244-4184, or my cell phone, 617-921-7322. I'm also at Uplifting Connections every Wednesday from 2 to 8, and that's on Route 104 in Bridgewater, Uplifting Connections, and you can find them on the internet very easily. But yes, and I also teach classes in reading these cards and giving people the information about the information that's on the shields. There are 7 clans in these cards, and there are 7 directions. The east, beginning of all things, the south, the west, the north, the above, the below, and the within. And then you have 2 more that are your personal, the right and the left, the male and the female, Mother Earth, Father Sky. But for all intents and purposes, the 7 directions are what you work with on a regular basis. Protecting the child in the south, opening up to what's available in the west. The north connects us to the ancestors. And then the above is spirit, the below is the earth energy, and the within is us.
Matt,
Uh-oh.
Yes.
would you want to try this out? Yep.
I'll try it out.
It's free tonight.
Ladies and gentlemen, Matt Costa from Spooky South Coast and Spirit Connections.
Oh, there he is. How are we going to do this?
Pull up a chair. There's one right there.
He'll have his back to the camera.
I'll just do this.
He'll just do what?
Nino.
Oh, geez. Are you?
The
That's what
squat?
you're going
I'll
to
just
do?
squat.
Squatch.
Yeah. Do I? Is
Squat.
it,
Is there room?
I need you to
You'll-
choose 3 cards
Okay.
and put them face down in the same order you choose them. Okay, you're going to go this way, from your left to your right.
is that
Yep.
make a difference?
I'm usually facing you, so
Well,
that's
some-
why I did it.
I know
Thank you.
sometimes the left is
Right.
very important when it comes to things like this.
No, it's just because the left is east.
Okay.
Okay? All right. So Matt has
Nervous?
chosen 3 cards.
No.
So your past energy, Matt, okay. So you've been getting a lot of signs and you've been hearing. Does he do the paranormal things? I don't know Matt all that well.
I do.
Okay. So you've been getting a lot of information coming into you through sources other than written and other than,
A little bit.
yeah. Yeah. That's what they're telling
Ding,
me, is
ding,
you've been
ding.
paying attention to them, listening to them. But,
Okay.
and not to get into any of your business, but you've been hearing from your grandparents as well,
Okay.
from the other side.
Okay. Yeah.
Do you understand
Yeah,
this?
yeah.
That's what they're telling me right now with this card. This is the spirit messenger.
Yeah, yeah.
So just pay attention, and I also feel like you see a lot of these too, don't you?
Hawks?
Yes.
Um,
Actually, right near where you live.
maybe.
Yeah,
here
yeah,
and
you
there.
do. Okay. Where you are right now, this is kind of interesting because the weasel is all about
There's no way to
stealth.
switch the camera
Okay.
right now.
Okay.
That's okay.
So he chose hawk
There we go.
as his past energy. which makes sense to me because he's been moving through that. And this is Weasel. Now, Weasel is about stealth, but not in the sense of being sneaky. Weasel, now this is going to be interesting because of what you're doing. You put yourself in the background more often than you put yourself in the foreground. Okay?
That might be true.
Right.
Maybe.
So what Weasel says is Weasel kind of hangs out on the periphery of things and checks things out. And Weasel energy, where you are right now, you're in a very good position. If you're renegotiating any contracts or doing any work with anything that's legal, putting yourself in the background a little bit, you're able to pick out who's the one that you want to be with in order to get the best information from them.
Okay.
Do you understand that?
Yeah.
No, do you? And people go, yeah. They go, yeah, because they want me to stop talking.
This is all on tape, so I can watch this again.
Because see, once again, you've got the messages, and what they're saying is pay attention to the messages coming into you. Don't hesitate about your intuition. The energy that you're in right now is do not hesitate about your gut feelings because it's putting you in the right position. Weasel is a very good ally to have in any kind of business dealings or in sizing people up, in sizing situations up. But Weasel likes to stay on the outside of the bonfire and not be caught in the middle of the drama. And that's where you are right now, is stay outside of the drama. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Now, the Sea Star is not coming forward, so they're not talking about changes and opportunities. I think it's already happened. Okay. Oh, my gosh. Okay, so that's owl. This is owl, and owl is deception. But once again, it's not about lying and deceiving people. It's about being able to float quietly. So what these cards are telling me is the energy that you're moving through right now, the energy you're moving through and moving into is that where you're going to be in the background but playing a very strong part in whatever's going on. Decision making and that type of thing. Owl is able to look not 360. People go 360. No, not 360 because it doesn't spin around like The Exorcist. But it sees in the dark. It turns its head. It can see everything around it. So nothing gets by it. It's very quiet about what it's doing. And once again, you've got the hawk feather coming in.
Why are both of you guys laughing?
Because,
because what this is telling me is you have very strong intuitive powers.
Okay.
But you haven't really embraced them yet.
Okay.
But it says to me that you're moving into the energy where you're going to be doing more and more of it.
Well, that's
Well, that's
good.
because he's stuck with us.
I was just
now.
going to say he's pretty
No,
much
I'm
full
serious.
with
And what
us.
they're showing me is he's going to be moving more and more into it. And what you have to do is you really have to claim your space on this. Don't let people railroad you. This is warrior energy. So when you're moving into this, don't let people trample you just because they're not believing in what you're doing. Do you understand this?
Yes.
Okay. Any questions? Not yet.
No, not yet. Maybe after
Just
the
hang
show.
out with the cool people. That's basically.
Yeah,
The best
but I
part.
find it very interesting that he's got the hawk feather in all three,
That's really cool.
which is the spirit messenger,
Okay.
okay? And it's telling me that you actually get more messages. You get more messages when you're by yourself and quiet and taking care of your own stuff than you do when you're involved with a lot of other people.
That makes sense.
Yeah, it does,
Yeah.
doesn't it? Okay. And just remember that you've got a lot coming into you. This is the
Thanks,
buffalo.
hopefully.
A lot
Hopefully.
is coming into you.
Hopefully.
So yeah. Well, here's the deal. Abundance isn't necessarily a monetary thing.
Yep.
It could be an abundance of opportunities. It could be an abundance of friends. It could be an abundance of things that you didn't even think of. Okay? Relationships, an abundance of love. It's not necessarily a financial thing. So we just send gratitude for whatever we get.
That's good.
All
Good
right?
news.
Thank you.
Good news. All right, thank you.
Thank you very much.
That's awesome.
Who's next?
Painless.
I know.
He's going to replay that, and then he's going to be calling me. I've got questions. I've got questions.
Come on down.
I find that
contestant
really
number 3.
interesting that these two animals, the weasel and the owl, are both about staying on the periphery of
Yep.
things and not getting involved in.
It's very interesting.
It's not badger
It
medicine,
is.
that's
I know
for sure.
it's hard because on I think all 3 levels we're like, okay, we won't say anything too personal.
But
when
it's
it
like
comes
what?
to myself or Steph or,
Yeah.
or Matt, and that's why Steph and I are looking at each other like,
Like laughing
Well,
because of the
we
intuitive.
know him, but at the same time, we actually just accidentally kind of read him the other day and gave him some messages from his grandparents.
Because they were standing here talking to me as
Right.
I was saying, sorry about that.
Yep. So it's just funny that it was probably I think it was his first time kind of being introduced to that.
Right.
And he's always done the paranormal thing, but now he's been working with us more and more, and he's delving into our spirit world, so to speak. So what you said, because we just experienced this, what, 2
Right.
weeks ago,
You know, the
maybe?
third person.
Yeah.
for
Okay.
So it's really
Well,
validation.
3 times the charm, Matt. 3 times is the charm. If somebody tells you something 3 times, then it's the truth.
So we have...
He's laughing.
Yeah.
When I'm doing work, I get messages 3 times. I'll be shown by spirit 3 times what they want me to
Yep.
say, and I know that when they show it to me the 3rd time, they're serious about it. So 3 times.
So we have 20 minutes left.
We have 20 minutes, and nobody's calling in. Nobody wants to know about.
I just want more and more.
Come on down.
What about Brendan?
It's not up to me.
Why
It's
is it
not up to
Who
you.
is it up to?
Come
then?
on over.
It's your show.
We're
Would you
asking
like to choose 3 cards, Brendan?
I suppose.
It'll be interesting to
He
see
likes
how
to play
this
hard
works.
to get, apparently.
Well, obviously he was.
I'm feeling the pressure now.
Are you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Peer pressure.
So we're going to
Of
do it the
Matt.
same way that poor Matt.
Yeah, Matt kind of called you out a little bit on his way out.
Okay.
You did?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So who's next?
Left to right, you said?
Well, what you're going
Well,
to do
put
is
'em
choose.
down.
Yeah,
Left
you're
to
just going to You're just going to put down 3 cards in the same order that you choose them. That's your past. This is your present. And this is the future.
That's how you choose cards, too.
I know, but
All right, Brandon, give her the
Ah.
crap. Nothing
Too
like giving the
funny.
hostess crap. Okay.
Well, it's because she comes to my house and
Past
she eats
energy,
half-cooked meat.
patience. Remember we talked about ant medicine, and I was looking right at you when I said it, wasn't I?
Yes, you were.
Yeah, and there was nothing there. Ant medicine, somebody who carries more than, you've had to carry more than your fair share of the burden for a lot of things. But you've done it because you knew that this was the path that you were supposed to be on, and you knew that this was laid down before you even knew about it. Do you understand that?
Mhm.
So that energy is great. The thing that I love about this, though, is, and this is the same clan that was in yours at the
Oh, really?
beginning, too, is that you have what it takes to continue to do that if it's necessary. But you're moving out of that now, so don't worry about it. Okay, because ant medicine follows the path, but Wolf is the pathfinder and the teacher. Wolf is the one that says, okay, so now I know what I have to do, but can we try doing it this way or this way? Let's try something, let's shake it up a little bit. Do you understand this? In other words, okay, let me ask them, because we're doing this all without doing prayers of intention, so it's kind of interesting. My spirit guides are playing along because they know that this is a TV show.
I love spirit guides.
Okay, there are changes coming up, either changes at work or it's not changes in your relationship. They said that's rock solid. So there's something that's changing where you have to find a different way to accomplish it.
Okay.
Do you work in a uniform? Do you wear a uniform to work?
No.
Is it a
Not per
uniform
se.
type of place?
Um,
Without giving anything away, I don't want you to say what your profession
Right, right.
is, but I'm seeing like there's uniforms around you.
yeah.
Okay, so there's something, what I'm being shown right there, is the opportunities that are coming up for you. In order for you to take these opportunities as they come to you, you're going to have to change the way you present yourself. There's a different path you have to take in order to take this opportunity that's coming.
Okay.
All right, and I know that doesn't make sense to you right now, but they're telling me it will make sense to you, because this is your present energy. This is your energy right now, is this Pathfinder. You followed the rules, you followed all the rules, and now they're saying it's time to break away a little bit and find a new way to do this. It won't get you in trouble, because you're going to be showing up.
That's what you were afraid of.
Yeah.
It's like, so I need to break the rules now?
No. It's not breaking the rules as much as it is just sort of going, okay, can we do this? This is what I've seen, can we do this?
Okay.
And you're going to be showing other people how to do it, is what they're showing me. Did you used to water ski or something?
No.
Okay. They're showing me you being towed by something
Why are you smiling?
on the
I
water.
don't know.
On the water.
I've tried it maybe once.
Okay.
And it didn't go over well.
Right, because the motor wasn't strong enough, right?
I just don't think I had the ability to stand up.
Because they're showing me that
But,
that you said, okay, I'm not going to do this, and did you do tubing or something after that?
No. No, I tried it A couple times
Because
on
they're
one
showing
day.
me, as I'm looking at this, they're showing me you with the water skis. And that's why I asked, did you go water skiing? Because I see you with the boat and the tow rope and the skis and things. I
This
don't
is-
see you up.
Yeah, no, I couldn't stand up.
Okay,
Kept
but
falling right in my face.
But you didn't let that stop you from having a good time that day. You found another way to experience having a good time. Do you understand?
Mhm.
And they showed me that and said, go back to that.
Okay.
Go back to that where you tried and tried and tried, and they're showing me, oh God, a dozen times.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah, but then you said, okay, let somebody else do it, now I'm gonna try this, and they're showing me you doing something else. So that's what they're saying, is like, you don't, it's not like you say, okay, I'm not doing this anymore, forget it. You gave it your best shot, okay. Oh, God, another butterfly. Because your future energy, because of what you're changing here, your future energy is a transformation as well. So,
So I get to pick more cards.
you get to pick more cards because don't we love this? And just so everybody knows, we were talking about the ant and the wolf and the butterfly.
Warren, you can't hide.
Okay, please choose 3 cards. Good. This man knows how to do cards.
And he has no practice.
And he has no practice, you being funny. Okay. Oh, my God. Okay, that's excellent. Okay, so look at, you think that you don't have the opportunities to do what we've been talking about, and it's an illusion. You're gonna have the opportunities that you need. Remember I said to you, there's gonna be opportunities that'll be changing?
Mhm.
Okay, in order for that transformation to take effect, you have to stick to it, but see the stamina, the elk is the stamina, okay? This is stamina. In other words, just keep going, don't give up. You're not the kind of person that gives up easily, do you understand?
Yes.
Now, this talks about loyalty. So in other words, you're not gonna lose your loyalty to what it is that you're involved in. You're not gonna lose the pack. All right, you're still going to be a part of that group, that tribe, that pack, that whatever. It's not that, but what they're saying is you take crap for something. All right, dogs will go back to the person that beat them. Okay, so they're saying that even when you've been put down, you'll still go back. You won't lose your loyalty for that. Do you understand this?
Mhm.
This all has to do with what's changing here. Okay, and how the change is going to take place. Now, the best part of this, the very best part of this, is his last card is Swan. It's a state of grace. It's coming out at the top end of it. It's coming out like, if you think of the ugly duckling becoming the swan, the ugly situation goes to the state of grace, the strongest connection to your faith, the strongest connection. Swan is monogamous. It's the strongest waterfowl on the face of the earth. It can break a man's arm with its wing. Do you understand that?
Mhm.
Extremely territorial, extremely, all right? So what they're saying is this butterfly transformation, that no matter what else happens, the energy that you move into, you're facing the reality of the situation. There's no illusions as far as you're concerned. You are loyal to those that you need to be loyal to no matter what else happens. But you come out of this the best ever, the best part of it ever, because of that state of grace. So the transformation that's happening is showing to me, they're showing to me that you're at the bottom end of the transformation. In other words, Tiffany's was the butterfly.
Mhm.
You're at the bottom end. You still have to go through that feeding, resting, the egg.
Larva.
Yeah, the egg to
Right,
the
is that
larva to the
larva?
cocoon. The egg to the larva to the cocoon.
Good
Okay,
job,
so
Tiff.
you're
I've
still.
already passed that.
You knew one time.
Right. But here's the deal. Here's the deal. Oh my gosh. Okay. Because you're so strongly connected to someone else here. Remember what I said about the changes in the body?
Mhm.
Now put all of that towards that.
Okay.
All right? Finding a different way to do things.
I'm sure she can help me.
I can understand it.
Okay.
Do you remember what you said to me?
When?
It's
I say
okay.
a lot to you.
It's okay. Brendan's going to understand it. Stephanie understands it. Brendan's going to
I'll have to
understand it.
explain.
It's all
Yeah.
part of it. It's all part of it. It's going to make sense to you clearly, clearly, clearly. There's more opportunities than you realize. But they're showing me that you work with uniforms. You work with uniforms. Okay? And they said that what this is, this Pathfinder thing, you're going to be teaching somebody that does that, that's in that.
Okay,
Do you understand that?
I do. That makes
Okay.
sense.
Because they said you're doing that, but then that's going to move forward because you're finding a different way to teach. That's what you're doing, is the Pathfinder and the teacher. You're finding a different way to present this because there's somebody that doesn't understand it the way it's being presented.
Okay.
Do you understand that now?
Mhm.
They just said to me, look, you have to pay attention to this. I said, okay, I will. Any questions?
Not right now, but
Okay.
I'll think.
You know how to get hold of me.
Thank you.
Oh, my goodness.
Mandy, you're doing awesome.
Yes.
Yeah, you two know I'm doing awesome. These poor guys are going, holy crap.
I think it's great.
I think it's
Do we have time? Is Warren over there?
Warren's too scared to come out here with me.
yes, probably. We don't know where Warren
Or we don't
is.
know where.
No, Warren disappears.
But I will say, Warren was the one who said, "Can you get Mandy animal medicine cards here?"
Yeah.
It's because Mandy freaked him out once with some really good information. So Warren hides from us. When
Right,
he's on the show.
Warren's afraid of the grandmother.
And you also called him out the last time she was on the show, and he wouldn't come
And he
out.
wouldn't come
Oh,
out.
he was sick.
Oh yeah,
he
that's
was
right.
sick,
He was sick.
right.
Yes. So that was funny, but
Right.
he's probably off hiding in the
And you
utility
can't blame
closet
him. You
right
can't
now.
blame him.
It's just so
You
funny
can't blame him.
because it's like
Yeah.
he wants to be part of it.
Well, we're not going to pick on Warren. We picked on Brendan. That was more fun.
It was more fun.
Poor Brendan.
We'll tell you why later.
Poor Brendan. Poor Brendan.
Thank you.
Will there be drinks involved with the telling later? Is that the deal? Okay. Okay. So I've been reading these animal medicine cards for 30 years. 30
It's
years?
amazing.
Am I lying? 30 years? 30 years. Give or take. There's quite a few people in this area that do use animal medicine cards, but I don't know of any of them that are using the fetishes that are on the shields. So, because a lot of them don't understand that there's more information available to them through those. But it was almost intuitive on my behalf that I understood that there was something involved in that. And when I talked with my friend Sherry out in Las Cruces, New Mexico, she was the one that said, oh yeah, well this, and this. And I said, okay. And then I came home, I came back to my area, my environment, and when we talk about an intentional meditation, it's where we go into our meditation with a direction, where we say, I need to connect with my spirit guides, or I need to find a helper, or I need this, I need information about this, and you go into your meditation with the intention. And I will focus on an aspect of the card and go into my meditation and ask them to show me clearly what it is I'm supposed to know about that item. Because even though some of these claws all look the same, they're not. Oh,
Ooh,
hello.
we have a call.
We do.
That's a little scary.
Isn't it?
It's not Avon.
Hello? Hello? Oh, it took a little while that time.
What happened? Are they there?
Oh, it hung up.
Oh, dear.
Oh.
Oh, dear.
You know how it normally says press 1 to accept the
Right.
caller? I was saying hello, hello, and then it said press 1 to accept the caller, and then
And then they weren't
hung
there.
up.
They'll
was
call
really
back.
weird.
They'll call back. They were looking for the pizza man.
could be. Well, like
What's that?
Oh,
he said, I'm here.
Oh, the pizza man is here?
Matt also delivers pizza.
Oh, does he?
I thought you'd bring some tonight, but yeah.
That would have been delicious.
That's interesting. The very end of a reading I did Saturday, anchovy pizza was the evidence, and I was like, oh.
Ooh, that can't be good.
No, I had to go and have chocolate
Salty,
afterwards.
salty, salty.
I can't imagine that people actually enjoy
But,
anchovy
you know,
pizza.
something people do enjoy it, and it's very, very good for the anchovy industry that people enjoy it. But my son described anchovy pizza as being like the penguin tank at the New England Aquarium.
I can picture that.
And he was
Oh,
like,
Let's try this again.
Call from Kira.
Yikes.
Press 1. Press 1.
I'm trying. I was a little scared. Hello, Kira.
Hello?
How are you?
Hello?
Hi.
Hi.
I was hoping you'd call.
Well, I figured I would sooner or later, so whatever. Question.
What's your question?
It's about, totem animals.
Totem animals, yes.
I don't know if you remember this, Tiff, but in that reading, remember how we, you know, of course, spoke to my mother, and she called me a rape.
Yes.
And I've noticed lately that, and usually I have a white tiger with me all the time. But I've noticed that, you know, I pick up small, you know, other different animals like that that kind of more or less really represent my life. So I was wondering if you could tell me what the raven was all about.
The raven is about magic. It's about trusting in the black void. It's understanding that we don't have a script for our life. And raven energy says just come into the void and understand that you don't need to know the answers to everything. All will appear to you at the right time. Does
That's
that make
really
sense?
Yeah.
Yeah,
That makes a lot of sense.
it does. And raven is very different from crow medicine. So ravens and crows are not the same energy. They're not the same animals. Ravens are not just big crows. They're a different bird entirely. And crow medicine is about natural law, about the right and wrong, not man-made law, but about the natural law of life as we know it, understanding the fairness. So raven energy is all about magic, and not black magic. We're not talking about magic that's frightening or powerful. It's simply about the magic that Spirit wants us to understand. So, and you said the white tiger, but I don't know about tigers. That's not part of the energy that I use. You would have to look up that energy in some other book.
Yeah, that's no problem. I have actually seen that when I was corner on my eye. It kind of scared me one night.
What, the
But
white
yeah,
tiger?
Actually,
Yeah.
I could see where the raven would fit in. Thank you very
Right.
much.
You're welcome very much. Thank you for asking.
Awesome question and an awesome answer. Thank
Thanks
you,
for
Kara.
calling.
Okay, no problem. All right, talk to you guys Sunday.
Okay.
Awesome.
See you there.
All right.
Bye.
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 And it's funny too because I've called Mandy on numerous occasions and said, "Okay, I found a turkey on my right side." Okay,
Yep,
I
I've
found
done that too. Messaging Mandy, what does this mean?
right.
Because as the animal enters and leaves our environment, our field, like going from the left to the right or the right to the left, has different aspects. Because what it's asking you to do is, if you remember that I said the left side is the feminine side, the right side is the masculine. So you've got Mother Earth and Father Sky. And it's asking you to release something or move it into the other energy so that you're not battling with it. And people don't realize, they don't realize squirrel medicine is important, mouse medicine is important. We don't think about the ant walking across the counter, we just go,
Right.
right? So patience, patience, patience. Deer medicine is about using a gentle aspect, about not being aggressive, not being confrontational, just using that gentle continuum to get to where you need to be. And hawk, of course, is the spirit messenger. I see them all the time. I saw 22 hawks one time on my drive from upstate New York down to Massachusetts. It was toward the end of January where they start their northern migration again.
That's cool.
Yeah, so 22 hawks in one day.
That's really cool.
So Mandy, when is your next class? Do you have an event set up?
I
or-
haven't set up any classes yet. We've tried to set up classes, and they haven't seemed to. I've taught the class twice to very small groups, and it's worked out well. But I would be more than happy to start another class if there's enough interest. We can make arrangements to set up either a weekend workshop where everybody gets it all at once, or a 4-week series where they get a little bit each week for 4 weeks.
I think that would be very interesting.
Yeah, so workshop's fun because you're just slammed with the information.
Right. And I hate to cut us off, but it is 7:59, so we have less than 1 minute before we kicked off the air. So
Okay.
tell us again how everybody can reach you.
I have a website, fromspirittouYou.com, that has all the information on it. My email address is fromspirit, numeric 2, letter U, @yahoo.com. And 339-244-4184 is my landline.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for sharing with us tonight.
Oh,
This
you're
was
welcome.
amazing.
I know these guys have multiple questions
Yes,
now.
they do.
I
So
know.
we're going to
They've
have
all
to go into that.
vegging on it and wondering what it means.
So thank you, everyone, for tonight. Thank you for watching, and we will see you next week.
I just want to add one thing. Make sure you go to the South Coast Paranormal and Psychic Fair this Sunday
yes.
from 10 to 7 at the Seaport
yes,
in
absolutely.
Fairhaven.
Absolutely.
We'll be there.
We will be there. We'll be doing a gallery reading, so we can't wait to see you. And yes, so sorry. I just
All right.
didn't want to forget.
Bye.
See you next week.